it's Eve. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to take a one-piece sleeve block, your front and back sleeve blocks, and create a raglan sleeve pattern. So you will need, as I just said, the front, the back, and a sleeve block, a one-piece sleeve. I'm using the standard one that I used in my previous tutorial on the kimono sleeve. I will add a link up here in case you want to refer back to that. But my blocks, these are the draped version for my mini dress stand Hilda, so there's no ease in these, and that will just help you see the line really clearly for the raglan sleeve. I will post another tutorial showing you how to add ease to a very fitted basic block, bodice block, but I will do that possibly next week. I'm a little bit behind on the kimono garment that I told you about last week. That's simply because I was going to create a toile from this nasty fabric and it's nasty. So I just need to finesse something before I actually cut it in my main fabric, which is this beautiful cotton. I think it might be this one or it might be my peacock fabric, I'm not sure yet. So that you will see probably during this week as well. So for now, let's get cracking on actually creating a raglan sleeve. Okay, in order to pattern draft a raglan sleeve, you're going to need a ruler of some sort. I am using my pattern master. You will also want a front bodice block, a back bodice block, and a sleeve bodice block. You may or may not want an awl if you're going to do any pivoting. You can see here that I've actually got no darts in my shoulder bust area, but if you do, then you'll want to pivot those out. You may or may not need a tracing wheel, paper scissors of course, and a selection of pens, or for yourself probably just a pencil. Here's one I prepared earlier. I'm going to be using the pens so that you can see more clearly what I am doing. Okay, so to draft the front raglan sleeve, we're first of all going to want to trace off the front section of the sleeve itself. We're going to set aside the bodice, the front bodice for now. I like to work right to left, so I'm going to flip my sleeve over because the single notch here tells me this is my front sleeve and the double notch tells me this is my back sleeve, and I want this side to start. So I'm going to turn it over. I could probably do with marking these lines in, but I'll do that another time. We want to draw in a line that is parallel to the underarm, the front arm notch, but we also want enough space for the center of the sleeve. So I'm using this as a guide, hopefully you can see that. And I'm just going to draw a straight line all the way down. Now you know that I'm using my Hilda blocks. If you were doing a full-sized block, then you would extend this by 25 centimeters. I'm extending it by 13. So I'm going to line it up with the bottom of that section. That's my front notch. And again on the bottom, I hope you can see that. And I'm just going to trace around. I'm going to take out the ease from the sleeve, which is what you would do. We're going to do the sleeve in blue. I'm just going to trace around as far as that first notch because this is my center and I want to take out the ease. I'm going to pop a mark in each of these drill holes, which guides me on my center line. And then I'm going to keep my sleeve straight rather than come in. Now I'm just going to take the straight sleeve outline. And that's that, and we're left with this. So now I can just connect that nice curve where I've removed the ease. I can take it straight down to the hem of my sleeve. And this was a method taught to me at fashion school by a German pattern cutter. And that's my front sleeve. Now I also need to take away, before I can place my front bodice section in position, I need the parallel line that I spoke about before, which is why we've drawn this up, if you like. So depending on how much bust there is, you're going to want to move that line further out or further in. So because my Hilda she's quite small, she's probably got like an A to a B cup, so I'm going to extend this line and draw one parallel that is about 0.75. You would do, if you're a C cup, 1 centimeter, if you are a B cup, 1.5 centimeter, and if you've got a small bust, you would do 2 centimeters, and by that I mean like an A cup or if you're menswear. So I'm just going to go 0.75 because of course I divide everything in half for Hilda, and I'm just going to make a note. Maybe I should go centimeter because it's so small on here. 0.75. I'm going to do a centimeter, and I'm just going to draw that line from the front notch up parallel. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. I will also, since I'm here, mark in so we can see where my sleeve cap is, and then what would be approximately the elbow as well. And that's my front sleeve. Now we take the front bodice. I'm going to do that in red so that you can see a difference. What we want to do is we want the neck, front neck shoulder to be on this line that we drew parallel, and we want the front arm notch to line up with the sleeve notch. Okay, this is why we've taken the ease out earlier. So we're going to line up my front notch on this line, and I'm going to pivot until my front neck shoulder neck point lines up. So you're just going to spin it like this. And I want it to line up on that point, that line that I drew. And then I'm just going to draw around that as well. Okay, so you can see we've got an overlap area. Next up, we are going to, I'm just going to mark in my dart so I know that it's there. Remember that this bodice has no ease in it at all. It's my draped Hilda bodice. And this is my center front. Okay, and then you can see that I have a little gap here. That's perfectly normal. I'm going to mark in a line 3 centimeters down the front neck, but for Hilda 1.5. But I'm going to use a different color pen so that you can see what I'm doing. And then you're just going to draw a line connecting that line on the front neck to the arm notch, like so. You can do it straight, you can do it stylized. I could have it as a nice curve. Let's practice with, I need a different color pen. We'll do a gray, but let's do a stylized, so that if we've got that lovely, do I want it to curve around here? Do I want to curve around here? But we want it to come from about 3 centimeters down, and it has to meet that notch. So maybe I'm going to use my favorite ruler just to get a really nice curve. Okay. Now when we trace it off, let's go with the red so you can see what we're doing. I'll sit down so I can see what I'm doing. So we're going up the center front, around the neck, and then we're tracing off that curved grey line that I just put in as far as the notch. Then tracing the rest of the armhole of the front bodice, down the side seam, the waistline, and the dart. So that's my front. And then for the sleeve, we basically do the same thing. So we're going to take the front neck, we go up, we're going to come down the shoulder, and we're going to curve around, taking off a little bit more of that ease in the sleeve. So we've got a really nice curved line. Can you see that? We're going to come follow that grey line that I drew in, the style line for the raglan, and then we're going to curve it. Okay, and this will equal the amount here that it joins to the bodice. We're going to do just an elbow length raglan to save on paper. Okay, now we should also have put that notch in. Hold on. Then you will want to just walk your pattern. My notches line up just about. So this is truing. And just about, I might just need to clip off a little bit there. But that is how you do the front raglan pattern. So I've added some seam allowance to the side seam, the underarm, the raglan style line, and the outer seam of the sleeve. This is the front now created. This is a lot more abrupt than I would normally have it, so I'm curious to sew that and see how it looks. Normally I would have a much more gentler raglan style line. So I'm going to now start preparing the back so that we have a matching pair. So for the back, it's a lot simpler. What we need is the back bodice section, the sleeve again, and we just need the measurement from the difference between the top of the sleeve and the end of the shoulder. So I'm going to get my tape measure, and it's normally around about 1 centimeter. Mine isn't, I can see already it's a lot less. So for my half scale Hilda, it should be around about 0.5 centimeters, and I can see that this is more like 0.4, so that would be 0.8 centimeters. I'm just going to turn this over. I'm going to write 0.4 because that's really important. You should make a note of yours. And then we are literally just going to do the same thing. So we're going to take our back bodice, we're going to draw, I'm trying to think of how far up she needs to be. So if I put I don't want to have to trace off more paper, basically I'm using the reverse. So I'm going to do the same thing again with my green pen. I'm going to trace around my bodice. We're going to go up the center back, around the back neck, shoulder, armhole, side seam, waist seam, and I'm just marking in those notches as I do. And then we have our center back piece. We're going to want to take our ruler or our pattern master, and we're going to extend that line by the amount that we measured from the front. So mine was 0.4, and I'm just going to extend the line like so, and then I'm going to get a different pen, and that's my extension. Yours will obviously be greater because you're doing a full scale size. Then I'm going to take my back sleeve double notch, and I'm going to place that notch to notch. Can you see? And I'm going to line up the ease line, because again we're removing that ease, with that dot that I've placed here, like so. And then I'm just going to do the same thing, mark in. I'm only going down as far as the elbow line again. Oh, hang on, did I do it full size on the other side? I think I just traced halfway, so I'll go full size. And we're not going around, so I need my center line, ta-da! And then we're going to curve, and if we've got this blob, if you like, it's extra ease, we're just going to curve it round from the dot that we put in. And it might be that you need to, if you're going to have anything that's a little less fitted, that maybe you actually want to raise the shoulder line a little in order to match the amount of ease in your sleeve. And then I think that's about right. We'll just mark in the elbow line so we know that that's there already. I didn't put the back dart in, but don't worry. And then that's that. So now we get to mark in our style line. So again, just because it keeps things consistent, but this is something you can play around with. I'm going to mark in my, what would be 3 centimeters for you, but 1.5 for me. You can do less, you can do more, you can experiment, but I'm just going to join that up to that notch. I'm going to get my grey line, and I'm going to create a more extreme version. So this is my bodice line. Maybe I want to come up and into that line. Okay, so we've got a little bit more of a curved line there. Now what we're going to do is, again, trace them off. I'm only going to do the front section, and then the arm as far, sorry, the sleeve as far as the elbow line. Okay, so I have all 4 pieces. I've added seam allowance to the center back, because that's gonna be the opening, the side seam, the under sleeve of the back sleeve, the raglan style line, and then the outer seam of the sleeve. And again, for the front, I'm cutting it on the fold. I have a seam allowance on the side seam, the underarm of my sleeve, the raglan style line, and the outer sleeve seam as well. If you were inclined, you could, of course, so this is if you were having it as one piece, like 1/2 of the garment, you would, because you're cutting each of these on 2. If you were inclined, you could actually cut the sleeve as one piece. So you would then modify this to be a pattern piece where this was one piece and this was the dart that you just sewed in prior to attaching it to the front and the back as well. There are all sorts of possibilities that you can do. So that's how you draft a raglan sleeve pattern. I hope you found that helpful. Here they are again, the front bodice and the front sleeve section. We also have the back bodice and the back sleeve section. I am going to do, because of the length of this video, I'm actually going to do a separate video showing you how to sew the raglan sleeve together. I'm really curious to see the shape of the front raglan style line, to see how it comes. As you'll remember, the back is curving up and the front is curving down towards hang on. The front style line was curving down towards the hem and the back was curving up towards the shoulder. So I'm curious to see the difference in how they both come. I haven't actually drafted a raglan sleeve for Hilda before. I've done plenty of raglan sleeves for my graduate collection, the parka coat, the trench coat, and those were in fabrics that weren't easy to manipulate and ease around those kind of curves. So I'm curious to see how this one works out. Anyway, that will be part 2 of the video. Part 2? Yeah. So do stay tuned for that. That will probably come this week because I've actually already recorded it. And yeah, I'm recording this outro after having done that. So I will share that probably on Tuesday, and that will be the how to sew a raglan sleeve. Do come back and check that. Please give this video a like if you've enjoyed it or found it helpful in any way. It's just the easiest way that you can support me as a content creator here on YouTube. It also lets YouTube know that other people might find it helpful. Leave a comment below. That would be even better if you have the time. Just let me know what you thought of the video, or if there's any other pattern making tutorials that you would like to see from me. I am trying to ramp up my pattern making angle here on the channel. And I think that's about it. Have a wonderful weekend, what's left of it, and I will see you on Tuesday with the next video. Bye!